April, Waterways and Line Commission meeting to order. If we could review the minutes, we do of the regular commission meeting, and I would ask for clean and submissions or corrections. I think so.
John, I have some corrections. Under the regular commission meeting held on February 12th, I had that myself make the motion and Jeff did the second. So Jeff being seconded is correct. And then if you go down to action items, request for summer help, I did have that Kevin made the motion and Jeff made the second. Those are the only two corrections I saw.
How about you? Hearing no other additions, corrections, I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes as amended.
I will make that motion, list the changes and approve it.
I'll second that. All in favor? All in favor? Aye. And opposed? So you have the move in a second?
Got it.
Got it? That. Sure, not to harass you, but I can probably help by asking on each motion.
Sure.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, John.
So, no action items. Okay. So let's move into the department items.
Like that.
Thank you, Coordinator.
So I'm not familiar with the vehicle considered some
Oh, we had the water department was involved. It was they were repairing attic touch and elaborate water, but they were working on a hydrant and they had a truck that was parked that was hit by one of the trucks coming into the business. So it was nothing on our part.
Okay.
But as with any incident, we always look at, okay, is there something that we should do differently? And had a good conversation with Bob and with Adam, and yeah, everything's good.
In your respiratory fit testing, any issues there?
Not done yet, is it?
He's probably talking about the respiratory protection safety training.
Oh, yeah. When is our fit testing?
Fit testing is planned for the last day in April and then May 2nd for the like coming under.
So yeah, we have our fit testing coming up. It was the respiratory protection. It was basically the safety training that we have for that annually, just with the water department, making sure they're aware of what they need to know for respiratory protection.
I see about half a dozen guys in this room that probably couldn't pass.
One, John, no. We have full face ones here, so it's actually back here. So John would still be
I
out.
might challenge you on that. I can get the CPAP mask to work. I'll probably. But you're right, I wouldn't pass.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have any issues for that.
No, yeah, we haven't, knock on wood, we haven't had any operator issues in a couple of years now with wearing them. And they are just for emergency use only at our well houses with chlorine. So again, haven't had an issue in, I don't even know how many years, not any time that I've been here, so.
Okay.
I would state that I was in attendance for both the respiratory training and for sports like training. And I was impressed how it was conducted, how the participants participated in it, because it was very well done. And thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, go.
What there are no other items? Could we move to the line superintendent's report?
Josh, can you remind me what municipal conflict job's on?
It's generally city road projects, sewer projects. We have to relocate most of the poles, so we usually talk us by now that way. You can't be got the
Anything else for Josh? That's to remove the electrical engineer's report.
It sounds like you're looking at the Viper as opposed to Eaton based on, is that based on performance or is that based on their poor response?
Kind of both. Yeah, we're pretty upset about how we've been handling our business lately, so that mixed with a lot of the issues that we've had with some guys as well. We've been hearing about the Viper for a bit and gotten a lot of other utility companies actually, so thank you much.
Sounds like the rep is trying to work with you a little bit, doing what they can at least.
And you also talked about this safe grid fault measurement device. Would that be appropriate for our rural areas?
It might be. I would say it's not really worth it for the cost. It is a really cool technology, but I don't think we have long enough runs to justify that cost. It's wrong. We have the clamp on fault locators already, and those are already helping us with that. So this would be more like the automated system.
Get it? There are no more questions.
Thanks for navigating a dust. Not having to get a new license or with a new director.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Anything else for Tyler? Let's go to the water refinement operations. Any questions for Adam?
You got a request from police or fire department regarding tipped hydrants, non-functional hydrants?
Typically, if one gets hit, we'll get a police report for it. If it's not a hit and run, otherwise, we'll get residents calling us in, letting know it's been damaged. Now, a lot of the new waters are breakaways, and that's just a repair, or repair kit repair, but otherwise, if they're an older model, you do have to melt them, close them. I'd say on average, we'll get 4 or 5 hit hydrants a year.
Happen to know one, they were discussing it in police and fire this morning, and I'd be curious to know from the time it's reported there, how long it takes for them to report it to you.
2 weeks sometimes.
Thank you.
So you probably already know by the time you get there.
Sometimes we do the yes. No, me too.
So how close are we on either nitrates or PFAs? So we have good margins.
Well, that's going to be based on new PFAS standards coming out that haven't been changed. So currently, it's still set at 70 parts per trillion for the MCL, and they'll be eventually dropping it down to 4 parts per trillion. Now that's only going to affect your PFO and PFOA, so you can't exceed 4 in each one of those. So right now we're at PFOSs are 1.6 parts per trillion, and your PFOAs are 0.72 parts per trillion. So we're still well below the 4. That's going to be the new NCL. Currently, that 70 parts per trillion is way above what we're worried about right now. So the nitrates there at 0.88 parts per million, and the MCL on that is 10 parts per million. So we're a bit low on nitrates.
Okay.
And starting this, do you know the surrounding area, water systems? Is anybody looking at trouble? Yeah, nitrates. Nitrate. You can go out in Grand Rapids and then out in the rural areas, the active cultural runoff. So you're going to have nitrate areas there. So anywhere near farm fields. PFAS, I would say the most critical area is up in Wausau. That's where they've had most issues. I think Marshall's got a couple wells, but they run like 50 wells in a well field, so there's a little different setup than you also do. You got this. Thank you.
County released some information about a month ago. They did a study that tells you what you're really asking, and it's concerning the beer in Grand Rapids area. It's kind of high, but Saratoga's got some down there that they're concerned about. If you want, I'll get you some of that information. Good.
Thank you, Adam. So then no more questions for Adam. Can we move to the information systems administrator?
How's your new employee work? Pretty good. Yeah. Yep. He is research animal.
What kind?
Yeah, 3 day.
Okay, then.
You throw a search request at it and then find something.
No other questions or comments for Matt? Matt? Then we move to the key accounts manager.
Can you tell us what
Intel.
Sand Valley bought?
The last one, anyway? Sean?
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Well, they changed names too, so I don't know.
Like, gee,
So it's the one further down, right there by Woodside School. Or Super 8. It was Super 8. Super 8.
Oh, that one.
Okay, I know I changed the.
Yeah.
Times of the actual. What they're doing there is, in my discussion with them when I called, it sounds like they take from Sand Valley all their laundry there. So they're transporting, so that's why the KW went up higher. And they had the increase. So we discussed time today and not enough historical data. We'll revisit it and go there to see if we could get them on a better rate.
Then I have a question on express or site. Again, on the time of day and talking about 8 o'clock. So do they have a different time of day number, or is it, or are you advising them run it from 8 to 9?
So on the weekdays, it's 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. They would fall under that category for commercial customers. So there's commercial.
Okay, that's what I did.
So residential 9 to 9, and that's what you're probably familiar with. So there's an hour difference. In their process, I guess, what I suggested, because they don't have that many employees and they could use their equipment, they're bailing their recycling products, they could do that on a Saturday. Well, that's all off-peak hours, so there is where they do savings with Canada. And the way it sounded, that could be a possibility. So
I would just like to comment that you did an outstanding job on the scholarship.
Recruiting.
Other years we've had issues, so you have a new modus operandi, I would take it.
well, I think it helped. We had the reality check. 4 of us this year, and I think communicating that, I think half of them, like 50%, received that marketing information from the reality check. So I think having more people will really help.
Well, my compliments, because I know we've commented in the past that you were surprised that we didn't get enough or enough talent, and we have both this year, so it looks much better. And, if we can move to the customer support supervisor report. 26 disconnects. Do they remain?
No, there's a couple that are still disconnected, but most of them are already connected.
It looks like Trip and SDC are working.
Yes, it's our biggest month, always.
They should go.
So the powers of one.
It's just a customer service training through MEW that was offered this year. So it was offered to every utility that is part of the MEW, and we can do it remotely, so we can have my staff in here because it's only a couple hours for every title.
Any other questions for Lynn?
Well, thanks for your continued with the landlords.
It was a really good meeting.
Yeah. Tough. Looking at
This Chief, can we move to the Chief Financial Officer's report?
it's okay.
This WPUI board meeting. What were some of the takeaways from that?
I think that presentation was pretty interesting, just talking about the kind of the microclimates you get into when you have a solar field and kind of the same things aren't growing underneath the solar panels versus right next to the solar panels versus further away. So they've got 3 or 4 different microclimates, not just on the ground, but below the ground too, with kind of different things happening and kind of how the water tables shifting a little bit differently. And then they were talking about kind of in Arizona how it's the opposite. So when they've got these solar fields, there's more water underneath the solar panel because you're not getting that evaporation. So that was kind of interesting to hear that. And then just during the business meetings, we're talking kind of one of the things I really didn't think about, but they're being affected by some of the federal layoffs and stuff too, because now those people aren't coming to some of the trainings that they do hold. They're unsure if they have training budgets or anything. So their numbers are a little bit lower. Not terribly. I mean, the federal was probably 10% of some of the trainings that they give, so it's not a huge number, but their revenue for 25 so far is a little bit lower. It's good at that.
So this 76 acres that we might put a solar panel on,
5 megawatts.
is that currently part of our aquifer?
Yep. It's our wellhead protection land that's by the Ranges Golf Course just north of Well 5.
And would we expect any based on this?
I think, based on the aquifer being as big as it is in the area, I don't think that footprint of the solar array will make much difference to the wells that we have there.
Yeah. And we're down now to 2 companies that we're looking at, and the 2 that we are down to, one of the nice things in both of their presentations is how they maintain the sites. So one of the companies actually gets sheep to come in and graze, and the other company plants wildflowers. And so that's 2 very positives, I would say. Yep.
How about is this project, this waterworks a planning commission, or is it a glue?
This is a glue project, so 30 megawatts for the glue as a whole, and then every member is saying how many megawatts that of land for the land, and you basically for us we would be 25 acres with 5 megawatts, and then so we're doing the 5 megawatts as is, Shawano as is, a Marshville. So we're the higher of the glue. Sure. Yeah.
Jeff, on the significant difference in the non-operating income that's been up with last year than this year. Is there something driving that?
Electric over here, what painter you are? Yeah.
Combined utility income statement.
Yes.
I mean, the non-operating income, it's about 20,000, about 50 grand. I can take a look. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is the first couple months, but it looks like the big piece is probably for the electric utility. Interest income is down a little bit, but not terribly.
I would have expected our interest income would actually be up.
It's up on the
How is it?
up. I will take a look at that. I wouldn't, see what happened. I know it's 2 months. It could be something to stuff that came.
Yeah, I think, Joe, some of the other things I'm seeing are that it's definitely rate impacts, so they're explainable, but I just didn't
I'll take a look.
understand.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know the difference. Yeah.
Were there any other questions for Jeff?
Yeah, the last couple of bonds were just like pretty good. It's pretty good race to down.
Yeah, their whole thing, emphasis last year was real growth.
And since we changed this, we got some of those ones that we got 2020, 2021, the rates are really low, and so you make it a little bit better. These are the new financial statements. I know we talked briefly about them last year that we had to change over in 2025, but the charts aren't there anymore. If you guys, I don't know if you like the charts, not like the charts, but if you do want to build it back or if it's something else, just something else, you could kind of rebuild those if needed. Those were useful to situation or not.
Well, I usually go over the year to year and item to item. And so far, I'm happy with where you're at.
Okay, good thing.
There are no other questions for Jeff. We go to the general manager's report.
You know, back at the mill. Yes. So back at the mill, whenever we achieved a milestone, so now we've got a charge key or a trinket, you know, to recognize that. I still have some of those.
Probably, yeah, some of those.
Thank you.
I got a few.
Yeah. So I don't know if the commission has ever done that or ever considered that.
Not that I'm aware of. I would love to entertain the motion to start looking at something like that. I think that's important.
Yeah, I think that, and certainly congratulations are in order, but it's not from the group of this room necessarily.
No.
For the folks that are
down
online right now.
I think
Some kind of recognition would be in order. I don't know anything but the rest of the group feels, but
great. Yeah, beer trimming kit or something.
Yeah, we'll work on that because I like that idea.
okay. So bring something to it.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Idea.
All right. Sounds good. And yeah, here's our plaque. So pretty happy with that. It's a Diamond Award, so it's the highest one available from APA for electrical safety.
Fantastic.
Well, here are the relations. Would somehow that filter up to the council?
I mean, they get a packet of our mittens, but it probably doesn't filter up to them. I let Jeff borrow this and take it to the next meeting. Sent that.
Figure out a way to get that information across out.
Right.
That
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
it could remind you of the excellence of the earlier.
Probably the CEO should show up at the meeting and talk about it.
Enlightenment.
what they're talking about.
Good up. Okay, please. So you said you're down to 2 already, right?
Yeah, we're down to, I won't give you the names of those, just per se, because I don't think we want that for public disclosure, but we had gotten down to 4 of the 14. They did virtual presentations, and the 2 of them knocked the socks off of the other 2, and so and one of those 2 is probably the one we're going to go with, though we thought it would be nice to have 2 in the mix for competitiveness, and they're going to come and do a presentation in person to the entire group board because it's only Marshville and us and Shawano that are doing the actual themes right now. So
On the Shawano facility, I mean, so you have the Shawano facility, you've got the Hartsville facility. Jeff, how are they justify that?
I mean, that gets built in the rates page of it.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm surprised that their ratepayers don't.
I know Marshville has a little
feedback from the public when they put theirs together. I don't think she was on this that I heard of. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Sounds like you got a winner for the director of engineering.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, so Owen is working at Ireland Power right now. He's their engineering supervisor of their metering departments, and conducted the interview, and he did a really good job of the interview, and we worked on an offer, and he accepted it. And only bad thing was that he couldn't start till June. He's trying to finish up a project with them, and he didn't want to leave him hanging since he had done the engineering on it.
I like to that. It's actually good news.
Yeah.
Because
It's a good sign.
he's conscientious.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. You know,
And he's originally from the area, from the Stevens Point area, so I think he wanted to be closer to all of us, to be a good fit.
but
So got it right.
We'll just have to compete with his construction, family construction project that
Yeah. He's constantly doing home improvements for all of his relatives. So,
Pleasant Farm, that was great.
yeah, exactly.
Is there anything you can comment about that potential joint land purchase?
Yeah, Jeff, Sean, and I had a really good meeting with the public school, and Sean is actually going to be heading to another meeting at 3 with them to see if we can make that a reality. So, and you know, depending on what the terms are, we might have to bring that back as a special commission meeting. So I know we had one offer on the table that you approved, but we'll see what we come down to when it gets down to the dot and the i's that crossing the t's.
Okay.
Yep.
There are more questions for Chad? Can we move? Well,
I have one more.
excuse me.
Sorry.
Just one more. Can you mention anything about the couple projects with wastewater and Parks and Rec?
Yeah, so wastewater is redoing one of their lift stations, so they are trying to order MCC for it. And so I'm just helping them with that specification and give them some contacts of people that could also help and for them to get competitive bids, because they only had one bid for it. So they were happy with that. And the other one, Josh and I are working on for lighting with Wittersville. And Josh is handling that.
Okay. Well, season's coming up.
It's coming.
Thank you. Good.
Okay, so there's no more items for the general manager. Review of accounts failed.
On the 10-point affairs, how did that go?
No, lights right on this wall here, the south wall on our team, all of this, the wishes. What? There's still some stuff pointing, but for this aspect of it. No, there's still some.
We've kind of last probably 3 or 4 years given 5 awards. I don't see what's reflecting budget, and then they've pretty much got like one side of the building. I was just curious where they were at. I think we've got 1 or 2 sides left, and until we has it, that's a good way to let us chat.
I want to talk a little bit about Taylor's Bond Trust Services.
Sure, so they do all the own bonds for the city. Our 2015 bond is part of that, so that's our April 1st payment. The city kind of handles it, we just have to pay them that amount. We've got 4 years blocked out of that, paying that bond back yet, and then they just get that $400 fee to actually add up the money to all the bondholders. That's our principal and interest for the year. No out interest payment in October.
Is there any, advice, feedback, guidance from GLU or NEW in terms of potential tariff impacts?
Nothing yet.
Nothing, yeah, but you know, they keep changing every day, so we'll see what it ends up on.
Yeah.
But we have our transformers already for the year, so we're in pretty good shape there. And so, yeah, I'm sure there'll be something, but nothing that we know that's a movement.
And what particular stock items or whatever done
I don't know, 3M operation kids, things like that might be not made in the United States. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I mean, our open idea is,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be more the raw materials that you'll probably see.
And I know Peter's, we've already gotten everything still called manufactured in Mexico of come, but we've got a pretty good supply of those right now.
That, what is the Honeywell Ulster maintenance agreement? What is it, what service is it that they provide?
That's the annual software maintenance fee for like radios or for that and so.
For which,
The meter reading software?
okay. The,
Ways to finish it.
utility buyback rates.
So every year we have to go to the Public Service Commission to update our buyback rate. So that's the solar customers that sell power back to us. So we just need to have that amount updated every year in our tariff, and it's based on our prior year, our average purchases cost from glue. So kind of if we had to buy 1 more kilowatt hour, what would that have cost from glue? So every year we just have to submit that information to the PSC, and the PSC's model is, they bill you based on the time it takes them to do it. That was just our cost for them to go through, update our tariff, and have the hearing.
On the test. I assume this is for the special.
Yes, and so they will be here on the 29th, the 10th bond. Yeah, I'm forgetting. We were able to get that early, so we can hand it on to them. So let's need to.
Any other items on the review of accounts payable? It's not like we're entertaining a motion in there, it's adjournment.
So,
Rick. Moved by Rick. Do I have a second?
Jeff.
Thank you.
Second by Jeff. All those in favor? Aye. And opposed? We are adjourned.